Birmingham in 1919 breathes like a wounded animal. Smoke bleeds endlessly from the tall factory chimneys, soot settles over the crooked rooftops like a second skin, and the streets reek of sweat, iron, and the lingering smell of gunpowder left behind by a war that ended only on paper, not in the minds of the men who returned. Every corner hums with industry and suffering, with hopes decaying in the gutters and small dreams clinging stubbornly to life. It is into this battered city that a lone horse walks slowly, hooves clicking like a warning signal across the dirt-covered cobbles. On that horse sits Thomas Shelby, a man whose calm posture hides a soul carved by war and hardened by survival. His eyes look forward, not wandering, not curious, simply focused, as though he sees a future straight ahead of him that no one else can imagine. Thomas is young, but there is nothing youthful about him. His face holds the exhaustion of someone twice his age, and his silence speaks louder than most men's anger. The people of small Heath recognize him instantly. Shopkeepers pause mid-task, beggar children freeze, and factory workers look up with a blend of respect and fear lingering quietly behind their eyes. Thomas Shelby does not need to announce himself. His presence is a quiet thunder. He leads the Peaky Blinders, one of the most feared gangs in Birmingham. Their reputation isn't forged on wild brutality alone, though they can be brutal when they must, but on meticulous order, discipline, and strategy, all shaped by Thomas's soldier mind. The war sharpened him, forging a man who calculates the cost of every action and delays nothing. He has returned from France carrying secrets, nightmares, and an unrelenting hunger for control. His brothers walk behind him in life, though their bond is stitched together by blood and trauma. Arthur Shelby, the eldest, is a storm wrapped in a man's skin. He returned from the war shaken, unbalanced, his leadership shadowed by Thomas's brilliance. Arthur desperately wants to carry the authority expected of an older brother, yet he feels Thomas slipping quietly ahead in every decision, every strategy, every moment of danger. Beneath Arthur's violent bursts lies a hollow ache, the ache of a man who sees that his younger brother has become something he can't match, a leader shaped by pain into a kind of genius. John Shelby, younger than both, tries to manage his grief after losing his wife, raising children he loves but struggles to keep in line. John hides his heartbreak behind swagger and loyalty. Finn Shelby, the youngest, is still too young to fully understand the dangerous empire his family commands, but he watches, learns, absorbs. And over all of them stands Polly Gray, the iron spine of the Shelby family. She is elegant in a harsh way, her intelligence sharper than any knife, her devotion absolute. She raised the Shelby siblings while their parents drowned in instability. She knows where each of them hurts, what each of them wants, and how easily Thomas could burn himself out with ambition. She watches him with a mix of pride and fear, recognizing that he has returned from France with a shadow inside him. A shadow he keeps locked away through cigarettes, whiskey, and relentless planning. At the heart of small Heath stands the Garrison Pub, a place saturated with secrets, deals, laughter, fear, and the thick smoke of cheap tobacco. It is the unofficial headquarters of the Peaky Blinders, a place where men place bets, fortunes change hands, and trouble can begin or end depending on who enters through the door. It is here, in this unpredictable corner of Birmingham, that destiny quietly stirs. A crate of stolen guns, machine guns, rifles, bullets enough to arm a militia, accidentally falls into the hands of the Peaky Blinders. No one knows this yet, not even the men who stole it. But Thomas Shelby discovers the shipment, examines it with the cool eyes of a strategist, and makes a decision that defies logic and law. He hides the weapons. He does not sell them, not immediately. He does not return them. He simply stores them away like a secret ace hidden in his pocket, waiting for the right moment to wield them. Thomas knows the value of leverage. And he knows the British government will not sit quietly as their weapons disappear. And indeed they don't. Word of the missing guns reaches London. Panic unfolds in political corridors. Meetings are held in dimly lit rooms. And out of those rooms walks a man whose presence feels like a cold wind blowing through a church, Detective Inspector Chester Campbell. Campbell arrives in Birmingham dressed in authority, ambition, and a terrifying conviction that criminals must be eradicated like disease. He has hunted down revolutionaries in Belfast, broken crime rings with methods most men would never admit to witnessing, and believes wholeheartedly in his own righteousness. Winston Churchill himself dispatches him to Birmingham, trusting no one else to track down the stolen guns and crush the lawlessness running wild through the industrial city. Campbell is the opposite of Thomas Shelby in every way. Where Thomas is quiet, Campbell is loud through action. Where Thomas calculates, Campbell enforces. Where Thomas moves in shadows, Campbell burns them down. He walks into Birmingham like a man on a mission blessed by God, though in truth his mission is fueled by ego, pride, and a fierce desire to prove his worth on the national stage. When he hears the name Thomas Shelby, something changes in his expression. A flicker of challenge, a spark of obsession. Campbell doesn't merely want to recover the guns. He wants to dismantle the Peaky Blinders brick by brick, to crush their leader, to demonstrate that order triumphs over ambition. As Campbell begins his quiet war on Birmingham's underworld, another piece of the puzzle enters the board. One rainy afternoon, the door to the Garrison pub opens, and a woman steps inside, elegant, soft-spoken, carrying a kind voice and a shadowed past. Grace Burgess. She claims to be a simple barmaid seeking work, but there is nothing simple about Grace. She is an undercover agent working directly for Campbell, chosen not only for her skill but for her ability to melt into a room without arousing suspicion. Grace's real mission is to infiltrate the Peaky Blinders, gather intelligence, and uncover the location of the weapons. She blends into the pub with unsettling ease, pouring drinks, smiling politely, observing everything. But her greatest challenge appears in the form of the man who walks in with an unreadable face and the aura of someone in control of every space he enters. Thomas Shelby. Their first interaction is small, almost insignificant on the surface. A glance held a moment too long. A tone of voice dipped in curiosity. A subtle recognition that both of them are hiding parts of themselves. Grace's heart stirs with something she did not expect. A flicker of warmth, admiration, or perhaps danger. The kind of feeling that threatens her mission before it even begins. Thomas, though usually immune to charm, finds himself silently intrigued by the mysterious new barmaid, who handles drunks with calm ease and meets his gaze without flinching. But the true emotional storm brews in the private life of Ada Shelby. Sweet, rebellious, and stubborn, Ada carries a fire inside her that refuses to be boxed into Shelby tradition. She is in love, deeply, passionately, with Freddie Thorne, a former soldier turned communist agitator. Freddie is bold, outspoken, and idealistic,